What is happening, Dolphins fans, and welcome to another episode of the Fins Tailgate with your host, El Capi Maitan. Tonight, on the tailgate party that never seems to stop, special guest lined up, gonna do some Dolphins talk. Recently off of her mad tornado through Dolphins Twitter that left it in rubble. Absolute destruction through Dolphins Twitter. If you haven't seen Dolphin72's tweet, you've missed out. So, $20 to see the tweet now. That's how it works. It's all. There was a whole 24-hour period you could have witnessed the tweet that she put out there. Now it's a paywall, and you deserve it because you missed out. She's getting ready to come up. We're going to do some Dolphins talk. We'll talk a little bit about how the internet crumbled down and how we can laugh at it. And, get into some of this stuff. I haven't talked to you guys in a little bit. I've been busy. It's spring break for the kids. I went to a little Disney resort this weekend. I'm worn down to the bone, but I'm always going to be here Sunday night. I don't give a damn. Even if I got to be on mobile location from someplace with bad internet, I'm going to try to be there at least on the Sunday nights. But yeah, guys, hit the like button on the way in. Subscribe if you're new. If you're watching on X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Twitch, anything, come over to YouTube. Hit the like button. Subscribe over here. Let's get right into it.
Turner Yell makes the stop in the secondary for Denver. 1st and 10. The fake. Good block in there, and down it goes. Caught at the 30. This is the dynamic hill. He's in for six. Tyreek Hill. Touchdown. What a block.
Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters. They're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm f***ed off, it's these f***ing clowns who were all taught they deserve it now. It's only worth it if you work for it.
Yes, it is time. The Fins Tailgate has arrived again. Thank you for joining us. Hit the like button on your way in. Shout out to everybody here live now. Raph, I see you. The Cuz, Jonathan, what's going on? Flava J, member up in the crib. Also the homie G, what's up, G? And then there's, Michael K. It wouldn't be a show if he wasn't in here figuring some way to try to dig at me, saying I'm going to be in a Hims commercial. I don't know. I mean, that's something I know what that is, and I'm sure I understand. I don't like that you're putting me, like, you look at me and you think of Hims. It's fucking weird to me, bro. So stop doing that. Rhino in the crib, what's up? Member in here, salute. See Hopeful, I see you. Daniel, what's going on, buddy? Joe Wrist in the crib, what's good? The member. Shout out to the Cuz with the $10 donate. Long time listener, first time caller. Go Miami, first time caller. You're gonna call me now. The Frost that you know was good, homie. Good evening, aka the homie. What's up? Salute to everybody. Mountie, what's going on? Fred, Jamie, see you guys. Hit the like button on your way in. Vincent, what's good? Fins up. Somebody important. Please, no crypto tonight. I don't think the crypto will be watching. Maybe he will. All right, so without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Doll up here. And, we're going to get into this. What's up, Doll? How you doing?
Hi. Good.
Do you want to go by Doll or Courtney? What do you want? Do we use your Christian name up in this month? I mean, that's a bold take for Christian name, too. I mean, I don't know.
You can call me whatever you want to call me.
Oh, okay. Word up. So.
If anyone's seen our back and forth.
Oh, man, listen, Doll and I have a awesome back and forth. If you guys aren't witnessing it on X, you're missing out. It is a long, it's at any given moment when something has an innuendo on either post, the thread begins. Been going on a minute, and y'all are missing, whatever. They're
great.
lost.
It's great.
It's hilarious. I freaking love it.
And when people saw that I was coming on today, they were like, "Oh, like I think somebody was like, he finally flirted with her enough for her to come.
Yeah, I saw that. I know that. That's one of the dudes, Bill. I know that guy. He comes around here and then doesn't come around, Bill. I'm surprised. He's been creeping watching our conversations probably since the jump.
Yeah, probably. But I'm like, listen, if everybody really saw this, they would think
Oh yeah, it's
some
fucking
wild
hilarious.
stuff is happening behind the scenes.
Next episode. So just a quick teaser. Next episode, Doll and I got something planned. So you guys will not want to miss that one. We don't know when it'll come out, but when it does, don't worry. It's gonna complete break the internet. Where Doll, I mean, you put a massive dent in it yesterday. I mean, Dolphins Twitter trended yesterday, and I'm pretty sure it was you that trended it.
I like to say that it was Hank. I think Hank started it.
Oh yeah, Hank's the pioneer. Let's call it for what it is.
I really was riding on Hank's coattails.
Well, I don't know if they'd call that coattails. Maybe briefer tails.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, definitely Hank, but I don't really know. I don't know what happened. I just posted an innocent picture of my accomplished clean bed.
That's what I saw. I just seen
I've
a beautifully clean
gone-
room.
I've gone on to rants where I'm like, I will never make my bed. Like, I stood on business with that. And then, I was like, you know what? I did it. I need to let Dolphins Twitter know that I actually made my bed for once. I got to own up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it sparked, it was positive. It was loving. It brought the community together.
It certainly did.
As a clean room should do.
You know what? It is good that people in the Dolphins community can celebrate cleanliness.
Yeah.
The way that they did. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed by them. Thank you, Dolphins community.
Yeah. And this morning they wanted wholesome. I made muffins. I baked for you guys.
I seen that, and they looked scrumdiddlyumptious.
They were delicious.
They looked
but yeah, you guys asked for wholesome. I give the people what they asked for.
It's true. Well, be careful with that statement because they might start asking for some real weird shit if you're not careful.
They've already asked for some real weird shit.
I bet. How them DMs looking? Let's get right to it. How is that been going? That must be a shit show in itself.
So, fun fact: if we're not friends and you I don't check the hidden DMs, the requested DMs.
Gotcha.
So I'm only getting DMs from the people that I interact with normally, and that's strictly because I got death threats from Bills fans during the season. We had they were oh my god, they were telling me to kill myself. It was wild, and it was all in those requested DMs. And so I decided that from that point on, you make a couple of Josh Allen jokes and they get all in their feels. But I decided at that point forward that I would not check that folder. So if you have DM'd me in that folder, it's probably wild, but I have not looked at it. And that's strictly protecting myself.
I can't believe. I mean, Bills fans, you should be ashamed. Actually, we expect nothing less. A lot of sexual frustration up there, I would imagine. It's not like they, you know what I'm saying? There's obviously a whole weird home life, dark beginning story for a lot of Bills fans. So the fact that they're getting into, and you're not the first female in the community that's been victim of this. I'm sure you've heard of other girls that have gotten this absolute lashing from the Bills fans. It's just a weird deal.
Yeah, and it's never the big name creators. It's the lower level possible burner account creators that do it, but you still don't want to see it.
No, that's weak, man.
Yeah, so I haven't checked those. I mean, I could do an entire episode where I probably just went into that folder and read those out loud.
Now that is a great idea. That's a great idea. Just scroll it through, bring it up. Well, then people love that. People love that stuff. I think you're onto something there with that idea. This is great. Flesh that out, and I think a good video of you scrolling through. Albeit a lot of them are probably burner accounts, but for those few that don't have their burner accounts and really love their little X account with their 112 followers, they're gonna have to start from scratch. And, that's good.
Because I'll put them on blast too. It could be fun. Read all 4 of them. I feel like maybe our DM situation's a little different. I get you're probably used to getting 3 to 4 a year.
I
But
just seen that comment when you read it. That's a Bills fan. That's Michael K. As I said earlier.
Mine's a little bigger than that, but hey, you appreciate those 3 people that DM you, Michael K.
Well,
You.
the crazy thing is, he's DMing himself with all his burner accounts.
Probably. The funniest thing that did happen in all of this is that there was a burner account on the Dolphin side that was like trying to troll me on that picture. And I guess there was a group chat, and I am friendly with somebody that was in that group chat, and they let me know that these guys just wanted a response from me. Like, they wanted me to respond. And I love responding to the trolls because it's funny. But it turns out that the owner of that troll account was in my DMs from their main account. And I guess I had missed their DM. I didn't respond.
Oh, you insulted them by not responding.
So they came after me on a burner account, I guess, to get my attention. But the fun fact is that I now know who he is.
So is this like being a young female in middle school where the boys are still pulling your hair and they just don't know how to get your attention?
Yeah. So it's like the little boys who can't get my attention, but then there's like the older guys who are like really nice and are like supportive and like are guiding you through it. And that's like the OGs whose DMs I will respond to.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. And then there's you who just,
I'm just here for this. I'm here for the shit show.
Yeah.
And I'm glad, again, and I will say this, like yourself, plenty of the girl Dolphin fans that are active in social media, they get it. They really get it. They get the banter, the back and forth, the fun. I feel like, it takes a real strong woman to enter into what is a obviously male dominated conversation, right?
Yeah.
And stand not just on business with your football takes, where a lot of the women respectable. It's obvious you grew up football fans, and this isn't some thrown together nonsense. It's from years of paying attention, loving, and watching not just the team but the sport, right?
Right.
And but I find it very funny how the group of ladies that all seem to know each other in some passing ways. It's not like they're all,
we talk.
We
all talk.
Absolutely. It's very apparent, and it's good too, because you have some form of commerce, right? Let's be real. You guys are probably getting the treatment very rarely.
Well, if you think that we're not comparing our DMs.
No, but you guys can all sympathy. That would be fucking hilarious. That's the show. There's the show. There it is. It has fleshed out. We need to get a couple of the ladies together and find your favorite worst DMs.
No, like we'll compare. Like the men will send all of us.
Oh, so it's the same guy. It's like a group one. These just so there's just some of them with a literal, got a little something going on. Wow. Well, watch out for those ones. Those sound like the more dangerous of them, really.
Yeah, but no, the women are great, and it's funny that the men think that we're in competition and that we're like pitted against each other, but we love each other. And I mean, there's a couple girls that are bitches. There always will be, just like there's a couple of guys that are bitches. But we get along, we talk, and then we'll talk amongst ourselves, our football takes, and how we feel off the timeline, and even on the timeline. And we have our own great little banter.
That's great.
Which I don't think the guys realize that, we have our own group chats too.
That's right. Keep them in check, these bastards. Shout out to Jonathan again. He says a threat from a Bills fan probably sounds like the slow kid at the spelling bee. So yeah, is it filled with grammatical errors and just absolute, ignorance in these tweets, texts, DMs?
Yeah, it's usually not grammatical. There's no punctuation, but still, like, you don't want to open your social media where you're having fun and like talking to people and like be told like to go kill yourself.
No, it's not very good. I mean, look,
despite that it's coming from like an elementary level loser, it's still like sometimes it gets to you, but sometimes it doesn't. I mean, I had to take my break from social media a couple weeks ago because was burnt out, and I came back to it because it was just over. And then I broke Twitter.
Yeah, I've taken a little time here and there. You have to. It's like information overload. It'll burn you down. There's been a couple of times, it's gotten me in my feelings, as we like to say around here. You get in your feelings a little bit about what's being said or something but for the most part, if you're getting involved in social media, even as, just a consumer of it, exactly what you want or looking for, you'll find. If you're in there to, focus in on the negativity that people are going to give you, you're going to find plenty of that. If you're here for the right reasons and here to have a good time, you can have a lot of that as well. It's a different space, the entirety, especially in this Dolphins community. You can find a little bit of everything. There's breaking the internet once more in the future. We'll get onto that next time with you. I can't wait for that. Let's get on to some football talk. So I know you are an absolute, we'll say Xavier Howard anon, right? I know you were very upset when the Dolphins got rid of Xavier Howard. I have my upsetness about it too, because I just kind of always figured, hey, there's going to be some point where the Dolphins are going to move back, right? Like he's going to take less money and stay with Miami. I just kind of figured that was going to, it never happened. Just keep going up to the point where now it's kind of hit bust. Yeah. It's going to be a shame though, if we see him sign with the team, not the Texans, for $9 million, right? Like something around $10 million in guarantees. It's going to be a real shame to see that. Tell me, I know you were heartbroken on X. Are you going to buy an X? Huh?
I cried. I cried. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think every Dolphin fan has it. I call them your emotional picks. And that's just like one guy, like the two anons. Like you have a guy and you choose him, and I defend them through all logic. Like that is my man. Before X, it was Cameron Wake.
Yeah.
People know my middle child's name is Cameron. Like he is named after Cameron Wake.
That is an absolute blessing.
I was locked in. And then once, Wake left and went to the Titans, I locked in on Xavier Howard, who I'd always liked. It's usually always a defensive player. Like you can, hold on, I show this to everybody, but see that picture right there next to my bed? Uh-huh. That is Xavier Howard intercepting Tyreek Hill when he was a Chief.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's literally next to my bed. I'm going to have to take that down now.
Oh, nah, you can still keep it there. I mean, again, we don't let the memories die. I mean, Cameron did go to the Titans, but I mean, he's a Dolphin, right?
Cameron Wake should have retired a Dolphin, and Xavier Howard should have retired a Dolphin. Xavier Howard's stats are up there with Surtain and Madison, and you can talk about his off the field bullshit all you want, but on the field, the guy
matters the most.
Hall of Famer.
What matters to me.
Right. Hall of Famer, huge numbers. Yeah, he was dealing with injuries. Make all the jokes you want, but there's so much leeway. Like there's so much respect when he's on the field, they hesitate to throw to him. Whereas you put Eli Apple on the field and he was thrown to and targeted everything. Just Xavier Howard commands respect. And sometimes you need that in your secondary. You need them to not want to throw, your way. Hesitate a little bit, his name garners respect. I don't care what anyone says. But I am coming to the realization that I will have to stop defending Xavier Howard. And that is either going to be June 1st or when he signs with another team.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I don't like, and I see somebody in chat that I don't really know who he is. I know of him. I don't know who that guy is right there, but him and I had a discussion, about how Fuller, who's brought in here, is better than Xavier Howard. There's a lot of that going on. I hate that talk. Like to me, Xavier Howard's stats are not even, a reflection of his impact on the game in Miami. Yes, I think we all can agree that his production these last 2 years is slowly tapering off for sure. But to act like this guy is completely fallen off a cliff and is terrible, it's just ridiculous. When it's measured up for what Xavier Howard's career in totality versus a lot of guys that are, right around his era in football, he's going to be one of the best. He really is and was. So and let's not act like he couldn't have a, burst out year somewhere else one of these years. It could happen. But
here's my thing is, so last year when he was still on the team, or, this year, I'm calling it last year because we're on to the new season.
Gotcha.
Did anybody talk about Fuller? Was Fuller's name in anybody's mouth?
No. In fact, Commanders fans.
He's so great. He's an upgrade. His name wasn't in our mouths.
Well, and Commanders fans did not like him. They were very upset with him at times. He did give up some big plays here and there. I'm not saying Fuller.
I mean, I wish him the best. He's on our team now, so obviously I'm going to root for him. But I don't think that I don't think he fills Xavier Howard's shoes. I don't think he commands the same respect when he steps on the field.
Here's the thing, right? If we're saying that what we're projecting from Fuller in 2024 is better than Xavier Howard projections in 2024, I'm in most agreement with you. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the take. A lot of people, and Dolphin fans alike, they love to shit on the outgoing players, outgoing people. And they don't just shit on them. They pile on in the most unhinged of ways that I get it, right? Like, you're dead to me. But let's not act like they weren't everything to this fan base for a long time. And it's guys like Xavier Howard that I see that get it the worst. The guys that if their impact was minimal and they came and went, no big deal, right? But if they were a draft pick and here for years and then they leave, man, they hate them. They hate them, right? Goodness gracious. Michael K. making fun of Xavier Howard again. He can't help himself.
Club on his off time, whatever. I don't care what any of these players do as long as it doesn't affect on the field. And he didn't pull his groin at the strip club.
Maybe, but that doesn't matter.
Because there's ways that the guy can not pull his groin and let the girl do the work. So I think that it was fine. I don't think it was at the strip club. He seems like a pro.
Yeah, he seems like a guy that knows his way around. Yeah, I mean, and Houston, from what I understand, has some of the best, and that's like a hometown thing. So
yeah, but I don't think Houston has interest in him. I don't think that would be a landing place. And I whatever happened behind the scenes, bridges have been burned. It's obvious based on commentary that bridges have definitely been burned. So I mean, I no longer believe that he's coming back. I hoped he would with Weaver. Now we have a young, exciting DC who wants to move it around and, mix up the Fangio scheme. And Ramsey, I was really hoping for one more year of that. I
me too.
Got gypped. Like, that was supposed to be our lockdown duo, and I really don't think that we got what we needed to out of it.
Yeah, that is the thing. Remember, it was always, even when we were looking at Ramsey a while ago, or there was a lot of discussion about Ramsey and Xavier Howard being good friends, wanting to play together. And then when we got Ramsey, that was what we were sold, this bag of goods. And then Ramsey didn't play for most of the season. By the time he got there, X is now banged up, playing with the injuries he's been playing with. So I don't think, again, that incantation of Ramsey and Xavier Howard, we never got to see what that could fully do for this team. But it is what it is. I would have liked to see him in this more man scheme, this man, that we're going to hopefully see out of Weaver. But, I will say this, we're going to find out how good Fuller is, because to me, Fuller, Cam Smith, those guys are going to get the targets because teams are going to stay away from Jalen on the other side.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out what these guys are made of, and that'll be interesting. That will be interesting. Another thing that's come up in the news that I haven't really discussed, right? I haven't really talked about it. This OBJ to Miami. They had the official, stroll in. They rolled out the red carpet. Yeah. The coaching staff flew back in a hurry to get back from the Texas Pro Day, make sure they were here for the OBJ show. Maybe the Kardashians were going to slide through, and they were going to have a whole fucking deal. How do you feel about a Miami Dolphins team that could potentially field as wide receiver weapons Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and OBJ?
I'll pass. I've been pretty vocal about that. I don't want OBJ. I don't think he's a good fit. I don't think we need any more film crews in our stadium. I don't think that he would be the best compliment. I don't think that he would be happy in Miami. I also do not believe, I think it was that they rushed to meet before they left for the pro day. I highly doubt that. They probably had a meeting and then they planned to meet again in the morning before they left. I think that people like to use their words to create some clickbait. I
would say this, Doll, and I don't mean to cut you off. It's hard to say someone hurried back somewhere when you have a private jet at your disposal. You're right? You know, if you got a private jet at your disposal, I ain't hurrying anywhere. I'll get there when I get there because I got a jet.
Like, oh, we're going to leave at 8. Oh, okay, OBJ wants to come talk. All right, we'll leave at 9:30. Like, it could have been something as light as that. But yeah, I think that with Waddle, Reek, my Barrios, I'm not bringing Barrios in here. We all know how I feel about Barrios. Easy E. I think we have enough. And if we go in a later round draft pick and get a nice young guy, it's a pretty deep wide receiver class from what I'm hearing. I don't think that like a wide receiver 3 is like my top need, and I don't think we should overpay. So I'm glad we didn't overpay because Odell wants like $11 million a year.
Yeah, that is the most capping ass number I've ever heard in my life. There's not a football team. There's not a football team in the NFL that would give him over $10 million on a 1-year deal. It's just that part of his career is. In fact, and think about it like this, right? We brought Will Fuller here and gave him $10 million. How stupid were we? How stupid were we when we gave that guy a 1 year, $10 million contract? So now though, with this OBJ thing, what are we gonna? We're gonna shoot ourselves in the foot again.
The only thing I like about Greer is that he's cheap, and I think that works in our benefit here with OBJ.
I don't know if I'd even say cheap because he spends money. I would say he's he only
spends money on like the big splash name, like like the Tyreeks, the Ramseys. But for everybody else, I think he likes to be thrifty, and I respect that, especially with our cap space situation. I think he has like one big splash in him a year.
Yeah. I would also say this. He's consistent on where he allocates his resources, be it from money or draft picks, right? And it's smart. He's picking the premium positions with the premium money and the premium picks. And it's pass rushers, corners, wide receivers. That's pretty much it, right? I mean, and tackle, I guess, because we did what we did in left tackle, which that's a whole nother subject. I don't know. I mean, to me, the Armstead experiment is exactly how I thought it was going to go. It's why we got him for such a deal, because we anticipated these were the games and the amount of games he's going to play. And if you look at it, he's getting the same amount of money per game as every other tackle in the NFL that's got top 5 contracts, because he's playing 10 games for that amount of money, where if he played 17 and we paid him the same amount per game, it would look like how this guy over here is getting top 3 or whatever the hell it is. So it is what it is. Weaver's defense, though, this overhaul on the D-line, I kind of seen it coming personally. It makes sense. You got a D-line coach, now defensive coordinator. He's making changes. If there was anything that would be perceptively what would be his specialty, something that if we went cheap in, he could make something out of it. It would go across the D-line, right? I do feel like the Dolphins, if things work out in their favor with that first pick this year, it's going to be on D-line. That's what I think. That's the smart decision. I know a lot of Dolphin fans want that offensive line taken care of. To me, yeah, I would say this on the offensive line. the example in which I just gave about Weaver and what his perceptive specialty should be on the defensive line, that's a good indication that you could be right, but I don't know. So you kind of want to give something to that to make sure that that's going to work out. Where Mike McDaniel, since he's come here, he has made it work, especially with Butch Berry, with these offensive linemen, that I feel like for the first time, and I can't remember when, we can make it work with just a couple of guys, not big names, not big time draft picks, and their scheme and coaching staff can get them to do what needs to be done. How do you feel?
I mean, I can see your point, but I think that towards the end of the year, especially when the injuries started to pile up and we were really stretched thin on that offensive line, that's when our offensive performance really took a hit. And it was kind of the part of the season that we needed it to ramp up. And I think that it kind of fell flat. So I would love to go and make that splash and get Jackson Powers. That's what I've locked in on. You see in what a great center could do. Look at the Eagles. I think the Eagles are probably going to jump up to get him because he's so closely, play scheme wise like a Jason Kelsey. But I don't really think Connor Williams is a long-term answer. And I think if we have these, this draft class, utilize it, because next year we're going to have the same problem with our offensive line. Because Armstead probably not coming back. Williams can't stay healthy. I don't think he gets a big splashy contract. I wouldn't want to give it to him.
Well, Drew Rosenhaus said about Williams the other day, his agent, that he took a significant knee injury in December, and that, it's going to be some time before he even is considered signing with anybody. And rightfully so. He's got no ability to show a team what he can physically do after the surgeries that he's gotten. Right now, he would sign for nothing. I do still think there's tread left on his tire, especially if he can come back, as healthy as he can. And it's probably going to pay off well for him to make his case to be signed with the team. Good news for us Dolphins fans, I feel like we're going to get first bite. So as long as we can maintain some form of finances, there might be a way in which to sign him mid-year next year because he's still unsigned. Bring a guy into the building for the low and have this situation kind of taken care of. I think, and this is not a popular opinion, I feel like the Dolphins feel that they are in a decent enough situation with Liam Eichenberg at center. And I know Dolphin fans hate that, because Liam, everything. But I wonder this, right? Connor Williams, in particularly, was the same exact age when he became full-time center for the Dolphins, and it took a jump in his career. That Liam Eichenberg is, I think they were the same age. Maybe Liam Eichenberg's a year younger, but it's pretty much coming around that fourth season where if Eichenberg locks in as the center and plays that position, man, how great would that? To me, it would be the most fortunate situation for us if he could somehow figure a way to be put on whatever little bit of weight he's got to put on, be able to. So let me back up here.
Get the talent needed to play the position.
Well, here's the thing, right? Connor Williams is good, right? He's a great center, but as a guard, he was constantly. If you look at Connor Williams' career as a guard, he got bullied around the first couple of years. Then his next year, the last year as a guard, where the Dolphins switched him to center, he played a heck of a lot better, but he was timing the snap, which is why he got I think he had the most in the NFL of false start penalties, because these guys that, have a little bit shorter arms, they got to get out there and get on this person as quickly as possible, or else they lose arm position and completely lose the block every time. So his best year as a guard, Connor Williams, was when he was jumping the snap. Then he became a center, and he played awesome at center because he doesn't need to jump the snap. He's the one snapping the ball. Liam Eichenberg, in a similar situation with the less good stuff at guard, I just wonder if the Dolphins can reinvent the wheel with this Liam Eichenberg center experience. And I know Dolphin fans hate it. They hate this idea. They hate it. They're not into it. But I'm telling you, I feel like the Dolphins personally like Liam Eichenberg at center. And remember where we drafted him. Remember who drafted him. I think he's going to get every opportunity he can. And to me, although I like Jackson Powers, if we're going to go offensive line in the first round, got to go tackle. Got to go tackle. And we've already discussed this. Premium positions for the GM. Wide receivers, tackles, corners, pass rushers.
I don't know. I'm sold on Jackson Powers. I've locked in. He's my emotional draft pick. I think that with him, we don't have to worry about a patchwork. We don't have to worry about if Williams is healthy, if Eichenberg can do what you want him to do. Because you got to remember, they're still, I know it worked for Connor, but Liam's a completely different player. I don't think they're the same player, so I don't think expecting lightning to strike twice is maybe going to happen. But if we're
not that fortunate, are we?
What?
We're not that fortunate, are we?
We're Dolphin fans, so we're not. If you want to talk D-line, who's your pick to draft? Because I have a pick for D-line too.
So I like the guy from Texas. I don't think he's going to be there. I get the two guys' names mixed up. Which one's the bigger, heavier guy? But I like the big dude from Texas on the interior on that D line. It's either Sweat or
is that Meatloaf? I think it's Meatloaf. I found that out and I was like, I'm sold on him. But he's not my pick, but I like him. He's a respectable pick. Yeah,
I need a dude that literally can sit there and eat up two holes. He's just in the way of two guys.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like him. I mean, I respect the pick. I actually really like Braden Frisk. Frisky.
Yeah, Frisk.
Yeah.
Frisk, something like that. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah. Braden's good. Yeah,
I made a joke. I was like, he can get me frisky. Thanks, it's a good one.
It's a good one.
So yeah, I like him, but I like Sweat too. I wouldn't be mad with either. I would just be mad because I don't think any of them. I don't think Powers, Frisk, or Sweat will be there in the second round.
No, I don't think so. I do now.
I don't think Jackson Powers is going to be there at 21, and I don't see Greer trading up. If anything, I see him trading back to try to get a third or fourth round pick to get us a little bit more. So I think it'll be. The draft never happens the way I think it's going to happen. Like after the first three picks, it's just chaos and mayhem.
That's what makes the draft so fun. When you're watching, you're like, oh, they're like, who the hell is this guy? No one even had him. And then that guy turns out to be the best in the whole draft, right? So it's usually some team like the Steelers.
Right, the fourth round, I don't know a single player. I'm just like, okay, cool. Welcome to the Dolphins.
But that's what's good too, because then you get to dive deep and see what did the team see that they liked about this guy. I mean, the Andrew Van Ginkels of the world, that's the lifeblood. Right, I'm
not a big draft girl, I'll be honest, because I'm locked in on Heat now. Like the Heat kind of, I transitioned from football to basketball. So like I watch the draft, but I don't follow it religiously because I have the Heat. But this year I've gotten a little bit more into it because I'm doing the podcasting now, and that's what.
Yeah, the last 2 years, I was more into the draft. This year, I just can't, bro. I just can't.
Seeing mock drafts every week. You don't.
I haven't even done any. I haven't even done any. Last year I would do some and stuff like that, and it's fun and I get it, and there is interesting stuff. But to me, I'm not gonna sit here and watch all this film and break down potential guys to the Dolphins like I have in years past. That's great. There's tons of creators. I ain't got the damn time for it. If I had the time for it, and this was what I did all the time, I would break down video on anyone wanted. But I am not wasting all of my mental bandwidth on a guy that never ends up becoming a Dolphin. You know what I'm saying? It's just I got nothing for him.
I'd rather break it down after, like break down film of the guys we take
Yes.
Then let's get into it, see if we like them, see how we feel. I think that that's a smarter move with your time.
It certainly is a smarter move for my time. That's for sure. It might not be for everybody.
I'm here to.
Thank you. I need the support is what I need. So
I got you.
It's good, because there is certain players that catch your eye, you want to look at, and then you see them, and when they're against us, we're playing the Commanders, and that center we didn't get is over there. You could watch and see us beat him up or him beat us up, and say, "Yeah, he should have done this or that." That I get it's a good byproduct of doing the legwork of draft stuff, but no, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. So. I can't. So did you, there was this stuff, this was a little while back, regarding, Poyer, right? Who has been on the Dolphins now, which honestly, I thought they were going to close the deal last year. It was all but set in stone from what I understood. But I guess the Dolphins, how it was explained to me, is that there was only a 1-year contract on the line for the Dolphins and a 2-year with the Bills, which guaranteed him more money up front, and they can move off him, which they did. And the Dolphins pretty much picked him up for a lesser contract for a 1-year deal than they would have last year, which is fine. I like the guy. I think he's got a good emotional thing. Real quick, before I get to the other thing about Poyer, how do you feel about the Dolphins picking up Poyer?
I'm okay with it. I'm good. I think it'll be great for Holland. I think having like another vet back there, take a little pressure off him, maybe do a little, 2 safeties deep. I like it. I like the guy. I also thought we were going to get him last year, but I think it's good. I think we need a veteran. I think I still think we should go for one safety in the draft in the later rounds if anyone's available. Kind of develop a young guy too to work off of Holland. But I kind of like that. I think that the backfield definitely needs a little bit of improvement from last year, especially the middle. I don't know what Weaver's plan is, but I say this all the time. I never want to see Cater Kohu cover a receiver for the rest of my life.
Oh, what? I like him underneath. He's great underneath.
But if he needs to go, I don't know, past 5 yards.
Here's where Cater Kohu gets in trouble, right? As soon as he has to turn his hips and go upfield, I don't know if it's that he gets tangled with guys. That's why he stays too far away. I know he's got enough speed, but maybe he doesn't have enough acceleration. I don't know what it is, but that's where he gets into trouble.
Seeing him and Eli on the same side of the field, in their zones where Kohu left off and then, it was picked up for Eli's. They didn't know where the zone started, where it ended. They didn't know who was. It was.
Oh no, there was a big communication breakdown between those two.
Never want to see it again. And then, poor Holland is there yelling at everybody and Ramsey's yelling at everybody. So I think it'd be nice. I think it's great, especially with a new defensive coordinator, to have a veteran there that's been around, kind of has worked in similar systems that I think he's going to call. I like it. I like the Poyer pickup.
So another thing that comes out on the Poyer stuff, he was talking about it on Pat McAfee's show. He was mentioning about doing ayahuasca and, his whole ayahuasca experience. Do you know what ayahuasca is, right?
No, I have no idea.
Okay. So ayahuasca it's a psychedelic tea that's made in South America. It's this leaf they get from the woods. It's you got to go to a shaman to get it. Like I swear, I've looked into this.
Is this what you're gonna do over the summer?
No. I can't make that trip. There is people that do the ayahuasca stuff in or Arizona and stuff like that. But here's the problem. I would totally do it because I think psychedelics are awesome.
I've never done, so
Oh well, man, you're missing out on the psychedelic part.
I get drunk. It's fine.
Well, that's good. I will say this, right? The only deal breaker on the ayahuasca for me is the fact that, and listen, I've done mushrooms a bunch of times, and yes, you kind of makes you sick to your stomach sometimes when you do too many mushrooms, which is inevitably kind of what happens when I take mushrooms because something happens where I turn into like the Cookie Monster of mushrooms. I just keep eating them. But the it happens every time. If there's more mushrooms to be eaten, I will eat them. But anyhow, this ayahuasca thing, from what I understand, you not only evacuate throwing up, but you got to go to the bathroom, and it's a intense trip, like super intense, which that's fine. But like, I think the fact that my entire bowels are evacuating everything in my body from everywhere, along with tripping, that just sounds like a nasty, dirty experience that I can't control enough to get myself cleaned up to enjoy the psychedelic part of it. That's the deal breaker for me. I didn't know if you knew anything about.
I don't. You're really painting a great picture of you. Really makes me want to get together with you. And
oh man, I'm pretty dope.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'd become your mother by the end of the night. All right, sweetie, I think you've had enough.
No,
not these.
It's never enough. Never enough. There's never enough. I will say, yeah.
Does he do this like regularly, or like he just did it once and like?
Well, I guess he said the first time he did it, right? It had, and here's something that a lot of science now for the last couple of years is really getting back to. They did a lot of psychedelic studies in the 60s and 70s, some good, some very bad. People didn't understand. They were locking people in dark rooms and feeding them a bunch of acid, which is probably not the way to do it. Now they're learning that a lot of this stuff can fix people's addictions. There's parts of your brain that kind of get like scar tissue and stuff, and CTE. There's a lot of very good health benefits for people who need it in this way. And he was saying how when he did ayahuasca, it had helped him get over his alcoholism and his addiction to alcohol and stuff like that, things he did in college and in his young life that got him through. And then his second time, it was a much better experience for him, because in the first time, when you take this ayahuasca, it reveals yourself to yourself. It takes all you this internal in perspective that makes you face the bad parts of yourself I've been avoiding. So there's that, and then it's a build thing. He said it changed his life for addiction. And then now the second time he was able to actually just do it and enjoy it as a person, dancing in the fairyland pretty much, So yeah.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
But I wonder though, if you use it to stop an addiction, if you can then become addicted to the high that this ayahuasca gives you. I think that might be something to you.
So there is a new thing that kind of goes down. Man, we've taken a turn, but we have. This was inevitably going to happen. Something like this. There is this new thing people are doing a lot called microdosing. They're taking small amounts of acid or mushrooms and doing their regular daily lives. They're like, oh, it's helping me out so much. Personally, I think that is a shitty way to do it, because I think it can, like anything. I mean, people can be addicted to food. They can get addicted to running. You know what I'm saying? There's people that run that then take it to an addiction where the running is now unhealthy for them. Everything in moderation, right? If you're microdosing with mushrooms or psychedelics, I don't see how someone could be addicted to ayahuasca, because the absolute violent bowel movements and vomiting that it induces, typically, if you become addicted to that, you got a real fucking problem, bro. You got a real fucking problem.
You're making me, I didn't think I was a prude, but I'm really feeling like a sheltered little nun.
Oh, well.
Welcome
to the Finn's tailgate. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's why they brought me over, because I was like a sweet, angelic voice.
That's right.
At Finn's talk. So, no, but this is wild to me. I know, I didn't know that he liked to just get high and vomit in the woods.
Yeah, kind of his thing. I guess he's done it a couple of times.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think I'd pass, but I mean, if that's what you feel like you need to do, more power to you. I'm just gonna chug some margaritas and
watch you talk to the tree. Yeah. Drink a couple margaritas and watch Jordan Poyer have a full conversation with a rock and a tree and an argument.
That's fine, because I'll find it funny because I'll be drunk. So I'll hang out with his wife, and he can go
do his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it. I thought it was interesting. I didn't know if you had heard about it. I'm glad I brought it to your attention.
I have not. I must have missed that. I try not to watch a lot of these like network interviews and shows because sometimes I just can't.
I know. Sometimes it's just
yeah.
puff piece nonsense. Well, to get to that subject, right? This guy, Joel Klatt, he made this take. He's doing his first round mock draft. He did this about a month ago, right?
Okay.
And then he did it again, picking the Dolphins at 21 to take Penix Jr. And the first time it happened, there was a lot of talk, but there was also a lot of news. Now this second time, because there's not a lot of Dolphins news and talk coming on, it is heating up, this Klatt stuff. People are upset. They're in their feelings about Michael Penix Jr. I'll give my take on the Dolphins drafting a quarterback in the first round.
Okay.
What is yours?
Definitely not first round. I'd be open to like a late round, 6th round pick if we want to pick up somebody, because I don't think that we have depth right now in our quarterback room, especially if Tua goes down. I wouldn't trust Mike White. I like Skylar, but I don't think that he's like the future.
It's obvious he's not the future, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
late round, I'm cool with. I wanted us to bring in a veteran. I wanted competition. I know that really pissed off a lot of Tua people, but I definitely wouldn't. There's so many holes that we need. Tua's obviously the front runner. He's going to be the starting quarterback. So let's fill the holes that aren't, the quarterback position. I don't see in any way, shape, or form that Greer would do that. But I'm against it in the first rounds. But late round, I'm open to it.
So I understand a logic in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this would really come down to what the Dolphins inevitably feel about Tua. Now, I mean, look, there was a lot of talk about Tua getting this contract extension, right? And it's especially on the mouths of the people in the know around here in the community. This Dolphins Tua Tagovailoa love affair contract was a set in stone deal. Well, it hasn't. It hasn't happened yet. And I wonder too, with the inflated number we're hearing about plus 50 million and stuff like that a year for Tua, is there a little bit of a disconnect in the numbers at this point? I mean, if we're being realistic, Tua's played 4 years. This past year, his best. The prior year, he didn't get to finish the season because of head injuries. Call it for what you want. They were concussions. Coming into the Dolphins, he had a significant hip injury that he has pretty much gotten over, I would say. But then his sophomore year, there was other injuries. I'm not saying that this is who he is, but let's not act like when you're at a negotiation table, this isn't the stuff brought up when we're going to be signing you up for, God, almost $200 million. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And not just the money, but that's like the next 5 years of this franchise, 4 years of the franchise minimally. So there is reservations that they could have, especially if there's a big disconnect on guarantees and amount of monies and stuff like that. Could the Dolphins take a quarterback in the first or second pick? And how and which, if that were to happen with a quote-unquote Michael Penix being the guy, which is the easy line to what the Dolphins would get, another left-handed quarterback, runs a similar type of stuff. It's so stupid, right? But if the Dolphins say we're to trade back in the first round, acquire some capital, picked in the first round, not a quarterback, then in the second round, in striking distance is Penix, and they take that capital and pair it up with their second round pick and go up and get him, I could see that happening.
I'm not sold on Penix. I call him
Oh, I'm
Peanut.
definitely not sold on Penix. I think he's just as injury prone as how Tua I just explained. Personally,
I think that Penis. I call him Penis. I think that getting
a lot of people do.
It would be like getting Tua 2.0. And if your thought process is that Tua's not the guy, he's not the future, why would you waste a draft pick on getting basically a 2.0 version of him who's also injured, who is also has, some questionable playing ability? Why would you do that? I think that would just be.
So the only benefit, right,
I mean,
financially.
If you want to get a different quarterback, if you want to do all of that, but in that second round, it's not Penis, it's somebody else, we could talk. But if it was Penis.
Well, yeah, there's the JJ McCarthy that's out there, stuff like. I mean, look, if they selected any quarterback, we don't really have to really make it about Penis himself. We'll just say, look, if the Dolphins were to take a quarterback by moving back in the first or moving anywhere in the second, or say, hey, I don't know, maybe the guy falls right to him in the second round, right? And they decide to take it. The only way in which I think that is, it's not an upgrade, because there's no way with the system that the Dolphins are running right now that someone's going to come in via draft and know it better than Tua. Tua's been learning it now in year 3. He'll know it better than that guy. Is there talents, whether it's size, arm strength, physical abilities? Could that guy have that Tua doesn't? Sure. But day one coming in here and doing it? No. But it does give the Dolphins financial upside. They don't have to be bogged down on a quarterback for a significant amount of their cap space for the future. So it's, again, it would be a forward-thinking type of thing. And in today's NFL, we've seen this happen a couple of times now. Teams have selected quarterbacks in the first round and selected another one. It happens. Whether or not that's what the Dolphins plan to do, I don't think so. But yet again, Tua's riding on his 5th year. If there's a wide disconnect in the finances, I'll tell you what, if it's the same disconnect that the Dolphins and Christian Wilkins had for the 21 million that they were going to guarantee him to the 27 plus million he got in guarantees, if it's that wide of a gap, maybe there's this type of weird thing that goes on in the 5th year. We've seen quarterbacks have hold-ins on their 5th year option when they want to get paid. I don't know. It could get messy, right? It could get messy one way or another. I don't see it.
I don't think Tua has the leverage to do that.
Doesn't mean he won't, though, right?
I just don't see it with him. I don't see him doing a holdout, and I don't think that he has the play leverage to do that. Especially if the Dolphins are hesitant about him being the future. I just don't like Lamar, like when Lamar and the Ravens, that whole situation. I think Lamar had more leverage there than Tua has with the Dolphins.
I agree with you, but so look at it like, I also look at it like this when I take in this consideration of this conversation. If I'm Tua Tagovailoa, I'm as much of aware of what has happened to me in my football career physically and mentally versus I'm not taking another snap on that field without this contract taken care of. 26 and a half, 27 million that he gets next year, something like that, 23, 24, I can't remember. I know it's in the mid 20s.
Yeah.
That's a significant chunk of change, and yeah, he's made a lot of money and all the endorsement stuff, but we're talking somewhere of 150 to 200 million dollars in his future that he wants to get his piece of. Does he? Thank you, Mo. 24 is what it was. Does he then try to leverage the Dolphins' bad position? They have all this money in this football team to the point now where they're having to manipulate their cap situation via free agency in ways in which they haven't in years prior. Tua's got leverage to force their hand a little bit, at least to, get a deal done. As far as Well, what are you going to do? You going to waste a year and all this money on me not playing? So I don't foresee it getting dirty, but it could, right? I don't know.
It could. I mean, I can't speculate. I feel like we'll have to see how it plays out. I just know that I wouldn't want penis. But like, look what the Steelers did. I mean, Pittsburgh literally went out, got Russell Wilson for cheap, and they turned around and they got Justin Fields for dirt cheap.
And they're probably going to draft a quarterback this year.
I think they will, and then they're going to turn around and say, "Cool, compete."
God, I wish I would again.
I respect it. I respect.
Hell yeah.
That.
Hell yeah.
Russell Wilson. If anybody saw since October, I've been saying I want Russell Wilson to come to Miami. I would have loved for him to come in and compete with Tua. And even if Tua still gets the starting job, I think having a veteran presence to help him better himself would have been great. And I said I wanted Russell Wilson. I have been saying it. But I grew up a Steelers daughter. Like I'm from a Steelers family.
Yeah,
so,
I've heard you cry about it. It sucks for you.
When they got Patrick Queen, I was pissed. Because I got those texts immediately. They knew I wanted them, and I got those texts.
Yeah.
And then they asked me about Deshaun Elliott. And I was like, have fun with that.
Well, Deshaun Elliott's at least laying the boom. I like that. I mean, what is he? He's not. Again, he'll do fine in that system.
What did he say? He like shit on the Dolphins a little bit too. He was like, "Yeah, I'm going somewhere where they play like real football."
Well, here's the thing, right? This Steelers organization is a shining example of how to do it. They've only had 4 coaches in their existence, 5 coaches or something ridiculously low.
Isn't Tomlin like the longest tenured coach? I think right now, like he's been 15 years.
Yes, and all that being into consideration, what the Steelers just did is what great organizations do. And it's the hard decision, right? Dolphins fans didn't, this entire time we've had to 4 years now heading into his 5th, don't bring in competition, don't draft anybody, this is his team. While the other good teams, granted, Kenny Pickett's a much easier dissemination of information to say that ain't the guy than Tua is. I will give them that. But they're not lollygagging about it. They're not going, we're going to give Kenny another year. They're not wasting any time. They say, fuck this guy, Kenny. Get him the fuck out of here. Bring me Russell Wilson. I'll take Fields, see what I could squeeze out of him, and then they're going to draft the guy. And guess what? If they have the same result, which they were a fucking playoff team, if they have the same result again and they don't feel good about their quarterback room, they're going to get rid of all these bums and bring a whole new cast of characters in to continue to find the guy that they need and want, rather than, maybe my questions about this person will be answered next year. And shout out to Jonathan Cap. Here's your cap situation on TFTG. Salute, Jonathan. Salute for the Doney in here paying the bills up in this bitch. Thank you. Dolphins fans fight and fought about wanting to get competition for Tua, right? For years. And the organization flirted with every quarterback available. Say what you will, but they flirted with Deshaun Watson, Tom Brady. I mean, listen, we lost picks. They inquired in on the Lamar Jackson heavily, all that stuff. Everybody knows this. These are all facts. But they never brought in true competition for Tua. And whether that's a good or bad situation, they've now put themselves in a corner where they have to figure this out with Tua. Or maybe he says, I'm going to hold in. I'm not going to hold out. I'll be in the facilities during training camp. I'll be here, da-da-da-da. But the Dolphins could find themselves in a potentially bad situation if Tua and his camp want some money and the Dolphins and him are far away in the numbers. And what's funny too, for years through the Tua folks, there was always, Tua's not going to ask for the money. He's not going to. He's a guy that'll take less on. How many times I heard that he's a quarterback that will take less money so they can build the roster because we know that he's that type of person. I said, y'all are fucking dumb. This guy's going to get everything he can like everybody else because that's what you should do.
It's a job. I think sometimes people forget that this is their job.
Yeah, They don't give a shit about what you
yourself-
can or can't do.
You're trying to set yourself and your family up financially. They're
Forever.
He's not a Dolphins fan. He's just a current Dolphins player who's trying to be rich.
It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me because the entire time I heard that, they're like, oh, he's gonna be Tom Brady. He's gonna take less money. I'm like, why the fuck would he take less money? First of all, just think about the guy himself. He's had some injuries. Like, God only knows if he takes less money, goes out there and blows his leg out and never could play again, he'll be kicking himself in the ass for taking less money than he could have got. It's just dumb. What if his life is affected post-game, post this NFL, and he doesn't have the money? You know, it's just stupid. I know you're not a big on the Tua talk, and we talked a little bit about that. I'm not going to kill you with it.
You're fine.
Yeah. I do want everybody to hit the like button that hasn't. 100 of you in the room, hit the like button. Make sure you're getting those likes up. I thought
I'd like
color
to
was...
let Dolphins realtor know that two things. One, I've never shown an areola. And two, I don't get paid for those pictures. I just do it because I want to send it.
Yeah,
So,
and that's just a
so you
cleaning
know.
the room. That's cleaning a room tire. Let's call it for what it is. I clean my room.
That was I was wearing that around the house.
That's what I'm saying.
And you know what? I cropped the shirt. It got hot. You ever clean the house? You get hot.
Oh yeah, you're cooking is what you're doing. You're getting it. You're in there running up and down.
So, and I live in Philly. We still got the heat on.
Oh yeah, because if not, you'll freeze to death.
Yeah, there's no air conditioning. So yeah, I rolled it up. I was, but there was no areola. Okay, that I would make you pay for.
Yeah, that cost extra.
Let's
as
be
they
real.
say. Yeah, I mean,
but just to clarify, I did not get paid for that.
I had my heat on last night.
You had your heat on?
Yeah.
Listen,
It got a little chilly. We had a cool front come through. It got down to
chilly in Florida is like low 60s.
60s. It was the 60s.
Oh, it's 37 tonight.
That's only
Sounds
4
like-
above freezing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
Sounds like
Terrible. It's
crop
disgusting.
top weather.
Yeah, I mean, it got up to like 46 today, so that was, nice.
I do remember when I was living in St. Louis after about, the first winter there, you hear, oh, it's going to be 37 today. You're like, thank God.
What I say,
when you're coming up from 12 to 37, you're like, oh, thank
fall
holy
50
heaven.
and spring 50 are two different temperatures,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
I stand by that.
No doubt. It's like a guitar progression.
I will say this.
37 coming up from 12 is like 80 degrees.
No.
I'll say this. Anything below 50 in Florida it hurts. It's freezing, painfully cold. I hate
That's
it.
the thing. You go down to 65 from 90. It's just the same. It's like going to 33.
Yeah.
So,
I still
Keller-
don't. I'm from Florida, and I never have gotten used to Philly weather. Is like if it's below 75, I have a hoodie on. I have a jacket on. I'm cold.
Yeah.
I don't think you get used to this.
Yeah, I couldn't. I don't know. I've seen snow, been in cold weathers a couple times. There is this weird thing, like after a snow, and then there's the sun comes out. Yeah, you're dressed warm and stuff, and there's this crisp warmness in the air because you get that reflection off the white, I guess. I don't know. I don't know enough about snow.
What would
It
you
is-
know?
I've been in snow a couple of times, buddy. I ain't never lived in it. You know what I'm saying? But I have gone.
You have to shovel the snow, and you're like shoveling, so you're sweating, you're hot, but it's balls cold outside, so you can't take layers off.
We stayed in a cabin for, I forget, I don't know, a while. The whole fam rented it out. And I remember going out to my car. I forget what it was. I think it was the Jeep. And I'm scraping the fucking windshield. And I'm like, fuck this shit. No way would my hands are wet. They're freezing. They hurt. And I'm scraping this windshield. It sucked. No way, dude. If I gotta be in a place I have to scrape my windshield, I can't do it. I'll be dead.
The worst is when you don't realize that like your window has frosted over, or like you don't think about it, and it's the morning and you gotta get to work. You can't go anywhere You've just, if you're running late, you just added 5 minutes of defrosting your windshield.
Mm-hmm. It might even be 5 minutes just opening your door.
Yeah, and that's terrible if you didn't allot for that. Like if you're like, oh, I'm gonna run out, turn on my car, and I gotta leave, and then you're like, nope, I got at least like 10 minutes of everything, then you're late. It's trash.
Yeah, Josh, I'm sure I could adapt, right? But I don't know. I again, there's pretty stuff about that weather and stuff like that. But no, I'm not feeling it. Well, I mean, we covered quite a bit of subjects. Color, you got any questions for Doll before we close this down a little bit? And I want Doll to plug everything that she's got because
right at the moment
they should be following, right?
I did. I just finished dinner. That's why I was away for a minute. But yeah, no, but I appreciate you coming by. You know, very lovely guest, no doubt about that.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So hope to see you around more, and everybody, they can catch you regularly over with the Fins Talk guys. Is that
the Dolphins Thirsty?
Both. So you can catch. I have my show, Doll's Diaries. It's usually on Mondays on Dolphin Thirsty, but this week it'll be Tuesday, and I'll be with the mock draft guy. We'll be doing
a mock draft.
He'll be teaching me more about the draft than anything. And then Thursdays I do Goon Squad with Fins Talk Sports Network, and that's the Miami Heat podcast. We talk Heat, and then otherwise I just pop up wherever I'm invited. I like to pop in and chit chat. And then, obviously, on X, I post random pictures of anything.
Just cleanly rooms and some baked goods. I mean, good old wholesome fun here, people. If you're not enjoying it, then you're fucking an asshole. I can't help you.
I mean, I was completely covered in my baking video. I don't know why people were saying anything.
I don't know. They were at
this t-shirt.
I see some really nasty comments in there. Something about asking about your muffins and stuff. It was really, there's some people that are really
glaze on a crumb top muffin, and I'm like, that would ruin the crumb top muffin. Like, get your baking facts right, because honestly, the whole point of the crumb top is really disrespectful, honestly. Miss Fins was on my show. I have not been invited on hers yet, but the problem is that her show's at 8 a.m. and I work like a regular job, like a normal 8 to 5 job. So I usually cannot go on her show. I would love to if she ever did like a late night show, but Doll.
Maybe I'll
Doll After Dark, and that's kind of accurate for the times of all the podcasts I go on. So
yeah, you have to hit her up for Wednesdays. She does an evening show on Wednesdays during the season.
Color does it with her. They do a Wednesday, league-wide Wednesday. Miss Fins and Color does. So maybe during the season.
A 32-team pick'em show.
give
our opinion about all the teams, not just Dolphins.
They do. Fun. Yeah, they have a good time.
Yeah, well, if she ever invites me, I would never invite myself. If she ever wants me, I would never say no to her. I love her. I think she's
totally great. Invite yourself. She'll definitely have you on.
I invite myself on Hank's show, the bandwagon, all the time. So
salute Kevin, renewing the membership, the homie.
I'll send you her as my official replacement when I can't make the show on a Wednesday.
There you go. You're the bullpen.
Sounds like a
door in, and then it's all she wrote.
All right, so guys, make sure to check out Doll on X, on Dolphins Thirsty, Fins Talk, all that good stuff. There's not a set in stone.
Has entered the chat.
Oh,
there you
go.
I'm down. I love her. I'm down.
All right,
she's
I'll get it.
Lurking.
Yeah, Miss Fins we love Miss Fins.
She knows her. She can.
Dude,
she knows. She's
Miss Fins.
I'm like here. She knows her shit.
She knows her shit. And Miss Fins, we had a 20-person fantasy football league for TFTG, which was a crazy amount. It's just too much. Your roster gets crazy. She won.
I believe it. She won it. She knows her shit.
At the start of the league year, I got to send her the winner, which is Miss Fins, is getting a WWE type of title belt. I had a thing where I was working with a company. They weren't really getting my design down right, so I got to find another company. But I'm gonna send her a TFTG title belt, which she'll be the reigning champion all year, and it gets bragging rights for the entire year. Automatically put into the league. There's no money. I don't do any of that, and so I'll if she loses, then we got to figure out a way to get that belt to whoever the winner is. But, it'll be a reoccurring thing. It'll be great.
And the winner gets a personal goon squad that shows up anytime somebody says they don't know ball.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. You can't be a person that doesn't know ball and win a 20-person fantasy football league. It's impossible.
No trades, might I add. She has a strict policy of no trade. She does not trade. She doesn't believe in it.
I am trading
her whole team in the waiver wire. Didn't trade one person.
I tried fantasy football 1 year, and I forgot I joined the league until half the season was over. So I lost.
Well, I myself, I'm the exact opposite. I trade as soon as the draft's over. I'm putting in trade requests. I am trying to trade for anything and everything all the time.
This guy, right?
I don't give a damn.
Arizona, man. You're like Josh Rosen. What was I thinking?
I don't care. And it works out for me. I've won plenty of leagues, and I mean, listen, I was down ranked at the bottom. I was able to climb up to the final four in that league, so that was all right. I still got spanked, but actually, whatever, fuck it.
I would join just to mock everybody that was losing. Like,
there you go.
Just to hear the talk between all of you, I would join just to be a fly on the wall.
Well, and KP, one of our guys over here, every Saturday he does fantasy football talk about the league and stuff like that. So it's like a whole thing. So yeah, we'll definitely put your name in the hat. You're on there. So
don't rush.
Doll and I are gonna have a second episode coming up. We have something planned. We'll get it worked out when it comes out. Make sure you guys check it out. It's gonna be good.
I made it past the first date, huh? That's good something.
yeah. Well, listen. Before the first, we already were planning the second. We got a big show planned for that next one. It's gonna be a good one.
Shuffle off to the restroom and not ever come back.
Yeah, he messaged me. I was like, "Listen, I don't want you once. I want you again, and I haven't even had you on the first time."
That's it.
So I respect that game.
It is part of my game. That's absolutely right. I know how to be coy and forthcoming all at the same time. It's definitely my gift. So yeah, guys, hit the like button, give Doll a follow, and we'll see you guys. I don't know, tomorrow, something like that. You're gonna be on Tuesday night on.
Yeah. I had to switch it up. I was gonna have 2 shows this week. It was crazy. But yeah, it's gonna be Tuesday.
Okay, so Tuesday.
7:30.
On Thursday.
On Thursday. Yep. On Thursday.
Right.
It'll be strictly draft talk. With the mock draft guy. That's his handle. The mock draft guy. He knows his shit.
I mean, you can't have a handle saying the mock draft guy and not be good at drafting. And listen, I'm gonna be watching and very scrutinizingly, because if it's terrible, I'm like, yo, this guy is capping on the name. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna bring up penis, so we'll see what he says.
Listen, if he selects him at 21, show's gonna pop off.
I'm just gonna say, if he's like, listen, I was watching El Cap last night and he has it. We're drafting him at 2.
Damn, that's it. The slide up.
Yeah, we'll see.
I will say one thing about Joel Klatt. Like, for the past 4 seasons, like, everybody's been shoving him. This is again why I gotta tell everybody. Here's Colors Logic session.
Oh, here it comes.
Tonight.
Here's Colors Logic. Hold on.
You cannot appeal to authority. It is a fallacy. Another reason it's a fallacy, reason number 5, I think we're up to, is because when a person that you appealed to for authority to win an argument, all of a sudden has a take that you think it, not only you disagree with, but you despise it. Oh yeah, guess what? You can't appeal to his authority anymore. Oops.
That's not how it works, Color, because everybody hates.
All y'all people that hinged all your takes on what Joel Klatt said over the last 4 seasons are all out there like, oh, he's trash. It's hilarious.
Just wait until the Kyle Brandt pivot to loving Tua this coming year, and they clip him saying, I love Kyle Brandt, when they've been shitting on him the last 2 seasons. I'm just saying, Doll, you'll watch it happen. If Kyle Brandt comes out and starts excuse my language, kissing the balls of the 2 in ears on this thing, they will love this man and put him out in front and put him up on, being the greatest guy of all time. That's just how they do it. They like this back and forth, apparently. Everybody's great until they agree with you or disagree with you, excuse me. So, all right, guys, hit the like button, give Doll a follow. Check her out on Tuesday at Dolphins Thursday, and we'll see you guys next time. Fins up.